that I'm this influencer or something. You know, there are really only 3 people that watch my show. You know, my mom, my wife, and one of my grandsons.
I'm there sometimes. Sometimes I tune in. And it's funny because normally it's when you're like, well, this bird dog feature doesn't appear to be working. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm here. What can I answer for you? And then it's like, yeah, that's confirmed. We're working on that one or something like that.
Well, but 90% of the time it's user error. I mean, I know that. And that's the shtick of the show.
Yeah.
You know, it's idiots. We do things we're not supposed to do.
See,
which is exactly what you're going to do out there in the real world.
Exactly. That was what I did with my support show, because I was like, I don't want it to be pre-manufactured where I've gone through and I've tested everything and I've made sure it's all tight. Like, I want to fail in front of the audience if it's going to fail, so that I can show what my thought process is to fix it.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, oh, there's a coloration issue. It's like, okay, let's go and play with some of this stuff and find out how to balance it.
Right.
And then people think, oh, he's doing it live and he's struggling with it.
Right.
And now he's figured it out and we all learned something along the way. So I would prefer to do that more often. And that's the whole structure of that hour. And now, granted, there's not a whole lot of NDI questions that come along these days, but it's more so like we have this group of, and it's similar to the Streaming Idiots group these days, where it's just like we're just getting together to have fun.
Shoot the breeze. Well, and then you've got that occasional oddball that comes in that really has a question.
Yes.
That's not a member of the community yet.
Yep.
And
or they say they come along and they're like, hey, I have a ticket in, you know, have you guys thought about it? And like anymore, so I've got agents that are looking at the tickets at the first level.
Right.
And so it's like, well, I haven't looked at it. I used to, but I haven't looked at it. But let me pull it up. You know, like I have access to the desk on this machine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can do it live.
Yeah. I can like read through it, and if it's something that we can actually discuss, then I can. And I ask, like, is this something you want to put on the show? Because we'll talk about it or we'll talk through it, and I'll at least talk about my thought process in supporting this.
Yeah.
And figuring out what might be. Like, the issue that I have just running support alone is everybody's setup is different, right? Like, your setup is going to be different than mine.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know how you got here.
And there are only 54 variables, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, where are we going to start?
Right. It could be just about anywhere. And it's like, how much do you know? Like, how much do you know about how this is supposed to be set up, and how much do you care? Or like, have you invested the last 3 weeks into this, and I'm walking in, I'm going to tell you what you did wrong and you're going to get mad? Or like, there's all these things. And so running support for BirdDog is really unique because we're onboarding so many different types of people, and the scale of what they understand is fairly broad.
Across the map.
Yep. Yeah. So cool. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I've been recording for 5 minutes, so that's how that goes. But
cool.
Yeah, it's just mostly a conversation. But I don't know how people don't know who you are, if they belong in the NDI realm at all. This is the celebrity, everybody, that everybody's been waiting to see this interview. I know, with bated breath.
Hold on a second. Let me get my wallet out.
Yes, and checks can be made payable too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, no, no, seriously. When I first came on, they were like, "Oh, you got to tune in Tom's show." Like, he looks at stuff all over the industry and just tries it out.
Yep.
And that was pretty much the way that I decided to run my show.
Good.
Because I thought that was the best approach, was just, let's just try it out and see how it goes, and let's experience it as the customer would experience it.
And everybody that watches the show, I think, feels really comfortable because you're not trying to put one over on them.
Right.
You're not from the marketing department that's going to say, this is the way it should work.
Right.
This is the way we hope it'll work. This is the way we're marketing it to work.
Yeah.
But this is a real life.
Or like as if it's all been like pre-planned. And it's like, now I'm going to click here. Like, that's tutorial videos and stuff like that, where you iron it all out, you show how it's supposed to be working.
Yes.
But when it comes down to, like, okay, let's talk about real world stuff.
Real world stuff. When you've got a PTZ keyboard.
Yeah.
And you've got 3 Ethernet jacks on the back.
Right.
So you've got a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right the first time, until you flip it over and you realize, oh, there's a label on the back.
Right. Yeah. There's a bunch of ports, and well, the first iterations of those keyboards, I don't think they had labels. The new ones, the second gen did, but they were on the bottom.
Yes.
The third ones have them on the top. So if you check out the ones that are on the floor, it's progressed. There wasn't one, and then there was one on the bottom, and now it's moving up to the top.
We're making it idiot-proof.
Slow progress. Yeah, we're learning our blind spots and trying to make it better.
But you're learning.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we don't want to even go down that path with the other companies that don't learn their lessons.
Well, or they think they've hit their stride, and so then they continue to produce the same problems.
Or they think, hey, this is the way we do it.
Right.
You don't like it, you're going to have to adapt.
Right.
You adapt to us, not the other way around.
Yeah, which is totally backwards if you're trying to win people over.
Yeah.
Right? Like you would take your customer, even if you don't use it, you take customer feedback and consider it, and then roll with that. But it seems strange to me that it would be like, no, this is, if you bought our cameras, this is the way that it rolls, and this is all it's going to be.
Did I tell you I figured out your logo?
Oh, no, you haven't told me this yet.
In fact, I didn't, nobody from the inside told me that. I figured this out on my own. Okay, first of all, the bird part.
Yes. Here, let me I'm going to put this up on in the recording as well, so we can reference the screen, and we'll follow along with Tom as he explains. Go ahead.
All right. So you've got the two aspects. You've got the bird. You've got the dog.
Right.
Obviously. Okay. So the bird. What do birds do? Birds lay eggs.
Yes.
Yes.
I will agree.
Birds lay eggs, and we're not going to go to the lay egg part of it, but we're going to go to the Easter part of it.
Oh.
Easter eggs.
Okay.
BirdDog is an Easter egg company.
Okay, I'll get on board with this.
Have you heard that?
I haven't heard this yet, but I'm on board.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. BirdDog is an Easter egg company because you know how you get into a piece of software,
yep,
and there's a feature that is not necessarily promoted,
right?
But you do like one of my favorite softwares is vMix.
Okay. Yep.
vMix is another Easter egg company because if you right-click something in vMix, there's going to be something there you've never seen before that's got a fabulous, great feature that fixes the 3 problems that you've been trying to fix.
I did not know that. That's
BirdDog is an Easter egg company. There's always, well, there's a firmware update coming out, whatever it is. Oh, and by the way, we're going to unleash this new feature that's been latent in our camera for 3 years.
Yep.
And it doesn't cost you anything, and you don't have to pay for an upgrade, and you don't have to buy a license. And here you go. We're going to make this P200 a auto tracking camera for free.
Yep, just go download the software from the website.
Absolutely.
And you can use it.
It's an Easter egg.
Yep.
And it's like the very, very first product, the studio, right? The TV studio. They were unleashing Easter eggs on that sucker for years afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you want dual inputs, you want dual outputs, you want to be able to bring it in HDMI and send it out SDI and NDI. Sure, no problem. We'll do that.
Yep.
And I was talking with Dan the other day, and he said, we really do love doing that. We want to be able to continue.
It seems
to reward our customers for making the right choice to purchase us, not just because of the goodies that they get today, but for all the Easter eggs.
Well, it's not a complete. I was just telling this to a customer too, or somebody here on the floor. They were looking at our cameras, and I was like, "Look, the nice thing that I really like is similar to what you're saying is, we get to." And if we can enable it on the camera, if it's a feature that we're developing and it's on the camera body, we can do it. We try and add it to the camera. And so far, there hasn't been anything where we're like, oh no, we're going to put that on Gen 2 and not include it on Gen 1. Nobody has had that. Nobody said that yet that I'm aware of inside all these. So like the P200, best-selling camera that we've had, sell them all day long, and they're still updating them, still getting them, and they're what, 3 years old now? Well,
and frankly, it's a real stupid business plan because you're not going to sell more cameras if you keep adding new features to the existing cameras. I mean, whoever thought about that idea?
It's weird though. We keep selling out all of our cameras, and so we don't have a problem selling them. They seem to be quite popular. But yes, you're right. It's you keep supporting them all that time,
So that's the bird part.
Okay.
Easter eggs, getting the Easter eggs, and you get Easter eggs. I mean, so BirdDog ought to adopt Easter as its official holiday.
That's when we should launch stuff because it's right before.
It's right before
NAB, right?
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Okay, now the dog part.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
it's a good thing.
This is good.
It's a good thing. That's good to know.
Stuff. So, what is man's best friend?
I'm with you.
What is
Lockstep.
man's best friend? What is the most loyal thing that you can imagine? Who is always excited to see you come home at the end of the day?
Yep. This is this is sound theory.
And that's been my experience with BirdDog.
Good.
I bump into you.
Yep.
Either virtually or finally in person.
Finally, physically.
I bump into Dan, I bump into Eamon, I bump into any one of your other support task folks.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're here to support you.
Yep.
We've got your back. We may not have the answer for you today, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
And we'll even let you know.
Well, and that's what we were talking about the
it.
other day too, right? Where it's like, look, it doesn't do us any good to pretend like we know, or to like make something up and then you find out later that we didn't know.
We're going to BS you and make you go away.
Right, no, I have no interest in doing that, especially on a support philosophy at least. We don't want to necessarily do that.
Right.
But it's like, if we don't know, we'll find out for you. We'll get back to you. That takes time, especially being positioned like all around the world, where all of my engineers are in Australia, all sleeping while I'm supporting customers. But, we sort it out.
I feel your pain on that one.
Yeah. It's a little challenging.
vMix is in Australia, so I'm trying to deal. Yeah.
There's a few. A lot of the companies that are in this industry are all in Australia.
Isn't that amazing?
It's strange that they
Something in the water down there.
the inventive spirit.
It's because it flows the other way in the toilet.
Oh right, yeah. That definitely must be it. Well, listen. Hey, so what do you got going on these days that people be interested in? So first of all, you have a stream. For those of you who
Shameless
don't know,
promotion.
I was going to say, for those of you who don't know, Tom has like the most well attended stream in our like group of.
Wait. There's more than that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it justice.
No, you're not doing it justice. I'm stopping you right there. I have the longest continually running live streaming show about live streaming in the world.
Boom. There it is.
It is the narrowest of all narrow niches.
That's all right. The Guinness Book of World Records is very thick.
Yes, it is. And this July, we will celebrate our 10th continual year.
Oh, no kidding.
Of doing this online
well,
show.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is a huge deal.
How about that? And you know why? It's because of the name.
Yeah.
The name of the show is called Streaming Idiots, because everybody that's in the live streaming world sooner or later forgets to hit the record button.
Yep.
Or,
I check it about like 6 times in the interview because I'm convinced that I'm doing something wrong while I'm not paying attention to the computer.
Yes, you get that sneaky feeling. I was supposed to do something. What was it? Yeah. But everybody feels like an idiot. And I thought, well, let's just gather all the idiots together and we'll commiserate amongst ourselves.
Yep.
We'll be real and we'll have fun and we'll learn stuff.
Yeah.
And it's turned out to be a really winning formula. We've got a Facebook group called Streaming Idiots. I didn't start the group. A couple of members of the group,
nice.
A couple of viewers started it and said, well, we want to support Tom. Poor fella. He'll probably never figure out how to do this on his own.
Never put a group together.
So they said, let's get a group out there and let's see if maybe, at the end of the year we can get like 50 people in it.
Yeah.
And the group's been out there for, I guess, about 3 years now, maybe 4.
Yeah.
It's got like 6,000 or 7,000 members.
I was going to say,
it
was together when I came on board, and that was 3 years, so it's 2019.
Yep. And it was one of those beautiful accidents where we were in the right place at the right time with the right idea, and people wanted a community where they didn't get their heads bitten off if they asked a stupid question.
Yeah.
And and we happen to favor certain products.
Right.
We're huge vMix fanboys.
Yep.
We love BirdDog, but we also love PTZ optics because those cameras are positioned differently in the market.
Well, and they serve different purposes. I mean, there's a market for both of our companies, but they're different sensors.
Sure.
And so some people prefer a Panasonic sensor, some people prefer a Sony sensor,
Absolutely.
and that's totally fine.
Had that conversation 3 times already today.
Well, and you also there's an existing fleet that you have to consider too. So not everybody is a new customer. Sometimes they have, we're Panasonic all the way through our studios. And so they're going to gradually, they're going to look at that first because those image modules will fit with their previous fleets. And if you introduce 3 Sony sensors to a Panasonic studio,
yeah, you're going to be doing some color correction.
Yeah, well, more than color correction. It'll probably be pretty frustrating for a while. But yes, they interpret light differently, and so that ends up being a fair bit of time. So, people swim in their lanes, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're fine with that. We like that you like BirdDog stuff. So
I love BirdDog stuff.
that's good.
But my goal, and I've tried to remain as faithful to this as it can, is my goal is to help people get into the live streaming world.
Yeah.
And so they're coming in as kindergartners.
Yeah.
Or as the Australians say, as kindies. And, you know, you got to start where you are.
Yeah.
So you're starting in your basement, you're starting in the spare bedroom, you know, you're converting the dining room.
Yeah.
You know, you're starting with a corner of the church or whatever it is. And the industry has moved past that.
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
But there's still tons of people that are ready to start.
Yeah,
And
or are
that's
thinking about, like, what are my options?
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think that's an underserved community, and I want to be that friendly kind of grandfather figure that says, come on in. You'll make some mistakes, but
Yeah.
we all make mistakes. Let me show you what I know.
Yeah.
And they'll start where they are, and then as they become more savvy, as they know more, they'll
Right.
appreciate more, and they'll move up through the ranks in terms of the quality of their gear.
Well, it really removes, like, I've noticed that a little bit where there's, like, the industry has, like, an inner circle, if you will, and it's like, how do I get in, like, how do I get to the place where, like, I can speak intelligently, and, like, when I first started, like, I did not know what I was talking about. Very intimidated in terms of, like, speaking the language.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was one of them, and I think it's way better because it's the same thing with, like, the feel in the booth, which is what I really appreciate about the Australians is they're very down to earth. They're very like, yeah, we'll show you what's going on. You don't need to speak the video formats. You don't need to be a colorist. You don't need to be like you don't have to be a professional in the industry to appreciate and to understand what it is that we're trying to do.
Yep.
So I love that. That's
Yep.
good stuff. Okay, so you're running. So do you run Streaming Idiots? Do you have a group of guys that do it, or is it like how many idiots are you leading the way?
There's one idiot. That's me.
But they started it for you and then, like, gave it to you as, like, gift?
Yeah. I mean, they're admins.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha.
And they keep an eye on it and make sure I don't say anything stupid.
Well,
which is a full-time job for somebody. My wife mostly.
you have a studio though? Like,
I do.
When
I do.
I tuned into one of your shows and you guys were walking around a green screen. Oh, the tracking software stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys were testing out cam control.
Yeah.
And you had like a small sound
We weren't
stage.
testing it. We were playing with it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, that could be interchangeable.
Testing
Those
it
two
means
words.
we kind of know what we're doing.
Well, no, not in my world. Testing is, let's see if I can figure this out.
Yeah. Let's see if I can play with this before I break it.
So you guys have like a sound stage, or is it just a green screen room, or what is it that you have?
Yeah, we've got a small studio, about 600 square feet. We use about half of it to build live streaming PCs.
Nice. For vMix.
For vMix.
Yeah.
And the other half we do for live production.
Okay. Nice. What shows do you run out of there other than?
Well, right now, Streaming Idiots is the only one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Starting out, John, the company is Eastern Shore Broadcasting.
Yep.
And it's not the Eastern Shore of Maryland, which a lot of people confuse it as. It's the Eastern Shore of Mobile Bay, which is at the city of Mobile in Alabama. So it's the smaller of the Eastern Shores. And we thought, okay, well, we want to have a local presence as a local production studio.
Right.
We want to build PC equipment, and we also want to have an online store for people that can't find the gear they're looking for.
Right. Right.
And so, 10 years ago, you couldn't find a 4-port capture card unless you just, kind of knew where to go to get it. And so I said, okay, with this 3-pronged approach, we're going to figure out which one of those markets is the stronger market for us.
Right.
And as it turned out, actually in the beginning, the online store was the strong market.
Oh, wow.
Selling the gear.
Yeah.
And now it's become the PC market. And we've got relationships with several large corporations that use us as their private label, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
vendor.
So if they need a vMix machine built,
Or if they
they
need
can contact you.
100 of them, or
Oh, wow.
whatever the case is. Yeah, we've got some pretty large POs.
Okay, yeah, I didn't realize it was kind of that broad, like that you were doing all 3 of those things, and
and still trying to be loyal to the start, which was the idiot concept.
Right.
You know, even though maybe I've personally progressed to a much higher level than I ever thought I was capable of.
Sure.
I still want to honor the folks that are still getting in and saying, okay, you know, I want to pay it forward in some ways by helping those folks come up to speed too.
Yeah, and you have this broad range. I mean, I feel the same way, really, that after some time you get this broad range where you can engage at different levels with customers or with clients or people that are trying to make it work. And you know, kind of meet them there where, you know, that's what makes you so versatile, especially like support guys that I hire. The really good ones are the ones that can read the customer and then engage at that level and not like lose them in the translation.
That's right.
I've been I mean, people are probably watching this and thinking that guy he talks over my head all the time, but I try really hard not to. And that's, again, I think the purpose of both of our shows is no, ask a question. There's no stupid question. Like it's not, you know.
Well,
we'll do what we can. Well,
most of them aren't stupid.
They might.
If
be,
I'm asking it, it might be.
But we will attempt to answer them, and like, you know, give you the.
We will honor you and not laugh in your face.
Exactly, and everybody's coming at it differently. Like, it still blows my mind, I guess. Like, because I've been in the industry for a little while now, for a couple of years, that like there are still questions being asked that should be common knowledge.
Yes.
And.
Yes.
I don't know what to do about that other than do more of what we're doing, because, you know, like, and getting that message out about like, about NDI or hear about vMix or about like producing a show or all that sort of stuff. It seems to me like, man, didn't we cover that like 3 years ago? It's like, maybe I failed at making sure that was out there.
But we're like public transit. There's somebody getting on every stop.
Touche.
You know, it just we can't make any assumptions that people know this or don't know this, and we just try to assess where they are and meet them where they are, and help bring them along.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference. To me, that's the difference between an integrator and, you know, a really good integrator. That's a terrible distinguishing
adjective there, but that's all right.
Yeah, right. It's the difference between an integrator and somebody who like goes the extra mile. Because to me, you know, if you can sell a system, but if you can get it to them where they understand it, you meet them where they're at, you can explain it accurately and all that sort of good stuff. It's you know. All
right, well, here's the deal on tech support at every level.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Good tech support is inherently selfish.
Yes. I
You get that?
I think so. But go ahead.
I am so selfish with my time that I want to teach you this so well that you never ever call me again because you get it. Yep. And you know, it's the teach a man to fish.
I agree. There's even the or I want to provide those resources for you so you don't feel like you need to reach out to support. It's like, you know, a good support group is a product that has the answers ready for you before you do any of, you know, you can go to the knowledge database and find the answer essentially, or like watch a 5-minute video. No, you're absolutely right. And you know, more of that to come. I mean, as time goes along, we hope to generate as much of that as possible.
You are going to be incredibly busy. I mean, you guys have released 6 hardware products
and
8 software products at this show when nobody else is releasing anything new.
Yeah. COVID, it was weird because they all went into their homes and started like inventing things.
They must have run out of napkins.
Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, there were some wild ideas thrown around, but I mean, some of the stuff that they ended up coming out with was just. Anyways, I'm really excited. I think the offerings are exactly what people have been looking for.
That's cool.
So I'm really happy about that. But anyways, that's a sidebar.
I can't wait to understand what is it? 14 new offerings? No. Yeah, 14 new offerings.
Yeah.
And I understand, I think 2 of them. So I got some work to do.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to take another gander around the booth, and
I will do that.
Will they let you stay in after hours so you can like have some time to? Are you doing filming here on the show?
I've done a couple here already.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And I want to come back and feature some particular products.
Awesome. Yeah, well, wait.
P100, P110 and the P120
Yep.
are the two that I want to start with.
Yeah, and those two, I mean, the primary driver between the two, right, is the optical lens. But that is, it comes now with the 100 series having tally, and it's the same form factor as the 200 and all that.
It's not just tally.
Well, I know.
It's Mohawk tally. Oh, what a stroke of genius was that?
Yeah, I saw that on the promo, and I was like, oh, we're calling it that? Like, are we allowed to call it that? Okay, cool, we're calling it that.
I was talking to Dan last night about that, and I said, whose idea was that? And he was like, well, it was mine. Like, of course it was. And even if it wasn't, it was.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, what a great idea of making sure that everybody sees the tally, to make it a stripe that starts at the front of the camera, goes across the top of the camera, and stops at the back of the camera.
You can't miss it.
So you can't miss it.
Yeah. It I feel like it's more visible even than the P4Ks. P4K has 3. There's 2 in the front, 1 on the back.
Right.
But it's the matter of convenience. No matter how it's actually mounted, you're able to see it.
And if you don't like it, that's what they make gaff tape for.
Or you can just turn it off. Yeah.
Oh, can you just turn it off?
Yeah, there's a tally on-off button inside, so you can just shut it off.
Gosh.
I know that there's a couple of installations that we're like, well, we require like a blackout because it's a theater, so we require a blackout, so they do gaff tape it.
There you go.
But outside of that, you can just shut it off on the web UI. So, anyways, well, hey, thanks for coming by. This is a lot of fun. We should have you come by again.
Well, we're going to get you on our show.
Yeah.
Soon.
That'd be great.
We've got Eamon on next week.
Oh, good.
On Star Wars Day.
Okay.
And
so May 24, Eamon will be over there. Okay.
And then after that, we'll get you on kind of after the dust settles, maybe a little bit on some of this stuff, and you can tell me.
Yeah, that might be a while before the dust. There's going to ship it all back to my office.
Oh, that's right. They haven't even started shipping yet.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have to let NAB kind of settle down a little bit, and then we'll be able to kind of sort out. But I'll be back online next Tuesday. I should be back.
Well, we'll do something, get you on the Streaming Idiot show in the summer.
Okay.
And that'll give.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You a chance to recover from your Las Vegas suntan.
For sure. Okay, so then final plug is, when is the Streaming Idiot show so that people can subscribe, and where is it? Where's the best place to tune in?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. The check is in the mail. The Streaming Idiot show is 3 o'clock Eastern Time, USA.
Okay.
On Wednesdays.
Perfect.
And you can go to streamingidiots.com, which just takes you to our website. And generally the live show, if there is a live show, is right there on the front page. And if we're not live, then the previous live show is there. It's just
great.
a YouTube embed. It's nothing fancy.
Yeah, I mean, that's all mine is. But that means that they can attend my show on Tuesday, Thursdays, and then they can go to your show on Wednesdays.
And that's why we planned ours on Wednesday, so it wouldn't interfere.
No, you were way ahead of me. Your show has been around a lot longer than mine has. Yeah, no. So yeah, if you're looking to fill up your midday work schedule,
there you go,
with some streaming shows, you can tune into the. I'm still trying to figure out a name, because we used to be like BirdDog, like it was BirdDog Twitch or something like that, because that's where we were hosted, was on Twitch.
Yeah.
And then there's a 3-week stint where I got banned, and so yeah, it was a
bad boy.
So yeah, I know it was an automated message thing that went up that said like submit a support ticket at, and it gave our email address. We had just switched domains, and so it thought we were spamming, and so it totally killed my account, and they didn't get to it till 3 weeks. So in the meantime, I had moved over to YouTube and started having people subscribe over there.
Sure.
And so now if you just go to birddogjon.tv, that's my YouTube channel. So
are you still doing Twitch?
So yeah, and now Twitch is enabled again.
Okay.
So it's all there.
You're doing both.
Yeah. And I just channel all the chat into Restream, and then I output it to the screen.
There you go.
Anyways, it's all good. So yeah, so you're on Wednesdays. Eastern Standard Time at what time?
3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock, and it's a
streamingidiots.com.
Streamingidiots.com.
But you got to remember, if you're in Europe or if you're in Australia, when they do these summertime daylight saving times things, they don't happen at the same time everywhere.
Right.
I think Europe is either a week behind or a week ahead or something like that.
Yep.
So if you're watching overseas, check the time zone.
Yeah, you have to. Well, if you subscribe, then at least you get a notification that it has been live or something like that.
That's right.
Well, great.
And you guys ought to stream to your Facebook group too.
Yeah, so Restream allows us to
So
go
easy.
to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and Discord is just a chat
Right.
channel.
Go where the eyeballs are.
Yeah, well, I don't know where they are.
Well, I'll tell you, they're on Facebook.
Okay, good to
And-
know.
And they're on Twitch and they're on YouTube for sure.
Yeah.
Those are like main streets in a town.
Yeah, and folks are on there, like, I find they're getting, in terms of, if we're going to talk about like how to drive traffic, folks are casually on there, and so if you're streaming to each of those platforms, I used to know because it was pretty much exclusively Twitch, but now that I've spread out, it's a few here, a few there, a few here, so it's, I don't have like a running tally of who's watching, but it's mostly about customer engagement at that point.
Yep.
How many people are chatting, and that's, as long as people are talking, then that's totally fine with me. So it's good stuff.
Well, you've been a prince to invite me on here. I really appreciate it.
Whatever. So yeah, we will need to get in on the big show over on Streaming Idiots. We're going to need to make that happen. And we'll meet again. It's so good to have you in the booth, man.
Good.
Thanks for stopping by, and
I appreciate it.
we'll do this again.
Good day.
Awesome, Tom. Take care of yourself, man.
Awesome.
Thanks.
And we're out.